Hey everyone, so we are back with another wall building video, and for this wall I'm going to try building it on the ground. So what I did ahead of time is I had put the bottom plate and the top plate in place, and I measured all the studs. I know this is on a slope pointing down towards the sump pump, so I had to cut each stud a different length, so that's why I did it that way. So I then took everything down, set it on the ground, and due to space constraints, I'm building it over another piece of 2x4. So I got some 2x4s laid on their side to raise this up a bit so I can actually screw it together. So start by taking my top plate back down. Sure to keep the direction the same. It's there. So now it's a matter of nailing this all in and lifting it into place. Give me a moment to adjust something on this. All right. So basically, for this corner, I had to build a fairly intricate piece because I have a flat board here. I have a board. It's a 2x3 going this way, so I can attach a door to the sump pump room, and I have a 2x4 on the other side to act as something to catch the drywall. And I had pushed a piece of wood in between here to kind of straighten it out, and that kind of bowed out the bottom piece there. So now that I got this all lined up, nail it in place, and then I can adjust it further. this all lined up nicely. I think I got it. Alright, now comes the hard part. We need to lift this up and snake it into place and then install it. Weight isn't too bad. Stand it up here. This is one of those advantages of the bottom plate. Unplug this light for a bit. There's the wires in my way. just need to get this in place. This is going to be a tight fit. All that. And see what I can do here. Got an idea. New wood block. Both ends are now up on a wood block. Go. Plug my light back in so I can see better. should be pretty close. To where that all goes. See in the corner here, we have our drywall can go into this corner, drywall can go into this corner, and eventually drywall will be able to go into this corner when I build the wall there. So, all right. So that's one wall, and I'll get that up there leveled and permanently screwed into place. And I'm going to do the same process for this other wall. Other wall will be just very slightly different because I have to cut the top plate to fit around that pipe. But I'm not going to show that on camera. I'm basically going to be doing practically the same thing. Alright, so I finished building the second wall and we're going to stand this up. Basically built it the same way as the other one on the floor, but I do have this notch cut out for that pipe, and to hold these two top pieces together I just temporarily put a scrap in between those to bridge them. Accidentally cleared everything, that's nice. What I'm going to do is the same as last time. Get it raised up on some blocks and then push it into place. It might be in the way. Certainly is a nice tight fit. designed it to be a tight fit. And that is exactly what it is. Okay. I think that'll do it. Just gotta level it. You can see where I cut out that notch for the pipe. It won't interfere with the wall. And I will get this leveled up and screwed in place. I'll get the laser level out and do that. It should be pretty close because I got it lined up along that back wall. And let me show you a couple of things that I did here. Find where I put my tape measure. There it is. So the studs are every 16 inches to the left side, so when you put the tape measure in the center, it's directly on the center. But between here and here at 5 feet, I got studs there, so you can screw the tub to it. And at 5 feet, I added this extra bracing because this will be a little wall for the shelf nook. So that's why this is like this. And also 4 foot, 64 inches. Again, this stud here is on the same 16-inch center, and this is extra backing for the tub and the wall. And the reason I still want the 16-inch centers is for this wall. think of that. I don't think that's going to actually matter because of the way I'm building the tub, but hey, it's nice to make it to a standard. So I wanted to give you all a quick update on the wall building. I built the wall with the panel box, and I didn't bother recording any of that because it was all very tedious and extremely custom. So, but everything's now nicely mounted. It's hard to get you up close. So, as you can see, I did some interesting notches up in the top there to allow wires to pass through. I actually reused that same top piece that was there. I just moved it over a little bit. And I remounted the panel box, and I got very creative with how I did this. And I want to show you why. So, when I had the panel box installed, I asked them if they could install it in between stud cavity, which normal stud cavity is 16-inch on center, and this would fit within that. And they're like, technically, yes, we could, but since this is such a big panel box, you're probably not going to have enough knockouts in the top to run everything in the box, and you're going to probably want to run some stuff through the side knockouts. And if you have it up against the studs, you can't do that. And I said, hey, that's a good point. So they mounted it on the surface of this wall, which meant that the panel would stick out roughly 4 inches from the finished wall. And I didn't want that. I wanted something a little more custom, nice looking, so kind of hide this panel box away. So I kind of compromised. So here is what I did. I took a couple of 2x4s and I ripped off about 3/4 of an inch. And then I took the piece of plywood and mounted it onto those 2x4s. So this plywood piece, backer piece here, is actually flush with the wall. And you can see that like right there. So this is pretty much flush with the inner wall, which means that the panel box will stick out maybe an inch. But also there will be the drywall going up here. So it only will be closer to 1/2 inch sticking out, which is pretty close to flush. What I'm kind of thinking I might do eventually is, in order to leave these wire chases open, maybe it's really tough to get you such close shots. Maybe I'll have some pieces of like 1x6 or something here it'll be like a really wide cover to go around the edge, or at least along the sides. And that will also bring it out a little further, but also give access to adding or updating, changing wires in the future. So again, trying to think future, think the maintenance, and trying to make things in the future easier. So, but yeah, I got the panel box remounted. So there's just over 3 inches on each side, the way I built this, for routing wires, which I think should be good. This is basically a 2-foot wide space from the edge of the stud to the edge of the stud, because it was a 2-foot by 4-foot piece of plywood. So that was the gap that I had left. So now that this wall is done and the panel box is mounted permanently, I can start doing a whole lot more projects around here, work around here. I can install the receptacle, the permanent receptacle for the sump pump. Now the panel box is in its final location. I can tidy up all the wires along the top. I can run all the wiring to the kitchen, and then therefore work on the kitchen. And yeah, this opens up a whole lot of, a lot more projects to me now. So, and of course his bathroom walls are nearly complete. So all that's left is building out the area for the closet, pantry, shelving area, and make it so that the tub will fit there. And of course, then there's also, I have to build the frame for the walls for the washer dryer area. So lots more work to go, but making good progress. So just a quick update today. Thanks for watching, everyone.